Imagine waking up in ancient Rome. The summer sun is just rising, fresh bread is in the oven, and merchants open their shops.
Come and see my fine wine.
How much for these fresh figs? Did you feel that?
By the next morning, one of the richest cities in the Roman Empire has vanished beneath layers of volcanic ash. Their homes, their possessions, even their final moments remain preserved for nearly 2,000 years. This is the incredible story of Pompeii, the city that time forgot. Long before disaster struck, Pompeii was one of the most vibrant cities in the Roman Empire. Located near the Bay of Naples, the city sat beside fertile farmland. The rich volcanic earth produced abundant grapes, olives, fruits, and vegetables. Farmers enjoyed excellent harvests, while merchants shipped wine and olive oil across the Roman Mediterranean.
Pompeii wasn't just a farming town. It was a thriving commercial center connected to Rome through an extensive network of roads and sea trade. Ships arrived daily carrying exotic goods.
I tell you, the grain prices will rise by the next Ides.
Inside Roman homes, colorful wall paintings decorated nearly every room. Some houses featured indoor gardens, complete with fountains and statues.
The wealthiest citizens owned grand villas. These were filled with imported marble and intricate mosaics. Meanwhile, ordinary citizens lived in smaller homes. Life in Pompeii wasn't only about work. Romans believed entertainment was an essential part of daily life. The city had a large amphitheater capable of seating thousands of spectators that attracted enormous crowds. Public theaters hosted comedies, music, and poetry readings. Bathhouses served as more than places to wash. Towering above Pompeii stood Mount Vesuvius. To modern eyes, living beside an active volcano seems incredibly dangerous. But for the people of Pompeii, Vesuvius appeared peaceful. No one living there had witnessed a major eruption. Over generations, people came to see the mountain as a nought covered its slopes. Vineyards stretched across its fertile foothills. In fact, many Romans didn't even recognize Vesuvius as an active volcano. Little did they know that beneath their feet, enormous pressure had been building for centuries. Molten rock was slowly rising through underground chambers. Gases were accumulating. The volcano was preparing for one of history's most devastating eruptions. Years before disaster struck, strange events began occurring around Pompeii. Small earthquakes became increasingly common. Buildings developed cracks, walls collapsed unexpectedly. Earthquakes were familiar in southern Italy. Most viewed them as an inconvenience rather than a warning. They repaired the damage and continued their routines. Even after a powerful earthquake in AD 62 caused widespread destruction, for the next 17 years, new homes were constructed, businesses reopened, life returned to normal. But the earth never truly settled. Beneath Mount Vesuvius, pressure continued to build silently. The volcano was entering the final stage. The morning began like countless others. Children played in the streets. The wealthy planned their routines. Just another small tremor, my dear. Life continued as normal. No one knew that beneath Mount Vesuvius, pressure had reached a breaking point. Then, sometime around midday, the mountain exploded. Modern scientists estimate that the eruption column reached over 30-kilometer sky. To those in Pompeii, it must have looked as though a tree of smoke was growing into the heavens. Pliny the Younger described the cloud as resembling a pine tree. A tall trunk rose upward before spreading into enormous branches. His account remains a vital record. At first, many Roman residents simply stared in disbelief. Some gathered outside their homes. Few realized that the volcanic eruption had only just begun. Small stones known as pumice began raining down across the city. Roofs echoed with constant impacts. The Roman streets slowly disappeared. The air became difficult to breathe.
Marcus, take your family and go! The road to the sea is blocked! The gods have abandoned us to endless night! There is no air left to breathe. Hide yourselves! The gods have abandoned us!
Ready the galleys. We sail to save them.
Launch the ships! Pull together! Pull with all your might! Row through this choking ash!
His nephew recorded these events. These letters allow us to reconstruct the eruption. Without his writings, all might have been lost.
Is it morning yet?
Not yet! Hide in here!
Keep your eyes closed, my love.
The walls will hold!
Some had managed to escape the city, but many remained trapped by collapsed buildings or streets buried under volcanic debris. Then the first pyroclastic surge reached the outskirts. Wave after wave of volcanic material continued pouring over Pompeii. Ash filled every room. Doorways disappeared. By the time the eruption finally ended, Pompeii lay buried under several meters of ash and pumice. From a distance, it looked like an empty plain.
For centuries, no one knew what had happened to the people of Pompeii. Then, during excavations in the 19th century, archaeologists made an extraordinary discovery.
They found hollow spaces inside the hardened volcanic ash. Archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli developed an ingenious method.
He carefully filled these cavities with liquid plaster. When the surrounding ash was removed, detailed casts emerged. The world was stunned. As excavations continued, Pompeii revealed. Loaves of bread were discovered still inside bakery ovens. Wine jars remained sealed. Kitchen utensils. Because the city was buried so quickly, everyday life was frozen almost exactly as it had been on the day of the eruption.
The rediscovery of Pompeii wasn't a single dramatic moment.
Look here, sir. Another wall with letters.
It happened gradually, over centuries.
Earlier construction and digging in the region had already encountered ancient remains, but systematic exploration of Pompeii began in 1748, under the Bourbon monarchy. Earlier construction and digging in the region had already encountered ancient remains, but systematic exploration of Pompeii began in 1748, under the Bourbon monarchy.
But slowly, something much more important became clear. This wasn't simply a collection of ruins. It was an entire city.
For generations, historians commonly placed the eruption on August 24, AD 79. This was based largely on the surviving account of Pliny the Younger.
An inscription discovered in Pompeii, dated to October, suggests a later eruption.
This discovery changes everything we knew, but the exact date remains debated.
Today, when visitors walk through Pompeii, they aren't simply looking at ruins. They are walking through the streets of a city that was once full of voices. Pompeii reminds us that history isn't only made by emperors, generals, and kings. Sometimes history is preserved in a loaf of bread left inside an oven. Every time an archaeologist uncovers another room, and every time we learn something new about the people who lived there, Pompeii comes alive again.